Hello everyone, my name is Rayyan, and before I begin, I would like to thank VidyaDaan for offering me the opportunity to speak on my topic. My topic for today is the solar system. When you think of the solar system, you think of the Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Mercury, all the planets that we learned from our textbooks and which we already know. But the solar system is much more than these planets. It is complex, beautiful, and a mysterious system filled with wonders which we will come to know shortly. So, we will begin with the sun. Our lives begin every day with the rising of the sun. The sun is a massive ball of hot gas. It accounts for 99.8% of the mass of the entire solar system. It is made of hydrogen and helium. Its energy drives weather, climates, and even ocean currents on Earth. Every second it produces energy that can drive Earth not for 1 or 2 years, not even 10 years, but for hundreds of thousands of years. So imagine the vast amount of energy it just produces. Now, moving on to the next topic, the 8 main planets. Since I've already discussed before that we already know about these planets and we will be discussing about much more than these planets, I will give you a brief description about each planet. So we'll begin with Mercury, which is closest to the sun. It is very hot during the day, but equally freezing during the night time, and it is covered in craters like the moon. Now Venus has thick clouds of acid and is hotter than Mercury because of its strong greenhouse effect. Earth is our home and it is the only known planet to us that supports life. Moving on from Earth, we come to Mars, known as the red planet. It is dry and cold but has signs indicating that it once had life on its surface. Jupiter is the largest planet, and some even argue that if it was big enough, and since it was a gaseous planet, it could have even formed a star. Now, we move on to Saturn, which is very famous for its stunning rings made of ice and rock. Uranus spins on its side and has a bluish color because of the methane gas present on it. And lastly, Neptune is the windiest planet in the entire solar system, with storms faster than the speed of sound. Now that we know about the sun and the planets, let's move on. Moons. Now when you think of the moon, you think of the moon that we see every night that provides us with light, but in fact there are more than 200 moons present in the solar system. All these 200 moons do not belong to Earth, but they belong to other planets. Now I'll list some of the main moons, of the main planets. Now, Jupiter's moon, Europa, may have a salty ocean beneath its icy surface. Some scientists even think it could support life. Okay. Now, Saturn's moon, Titan, has rivers and lakes made of methane. And lastly, Triton, it orbits backwards, and some even believe it was once a captured object from farther out in space. You can assume moons like mini worlds where they have their own weather, volcanoes, and even underground oceans. Now, we will talk about something very fascinating, asteroids and comets, which also include the Kuiper belt, the famous Kuiper belt. Now, asteroids are rocky leftovers from the early solar system. Most orbit in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Okay, so there is a circular strip of asteroids present between the Mars and Jupiter that rotate around the sun. Okay, now not only asteroids, but there are also the comets present on the solar system. They are made of ice and dust, and when they get close to the sun, their ice melts and form a glowing tail. The ones which you see in the sky, they are actually meteoroids, but they are a form of comets. Now, I would like to talk about the Kuiper belt, which is a similar asteroid belt like the one present between Mars and Jupiter, but it is located way beyond all the 8 planets mentioned. It is beyond Neptune too. So it is a region filled with icy bodies, including Pluto, which was once considered an actual planet, but is now seen as a dwarf planet. Now, even beyond that, we have the Oort cloud. Now, we may never see it directly, but many believe it is the source of long period comets. Now, how far have humans explored, and what are the future missions to explore these planets or to go beyond these solar systems? Now, thanks to space missions like Voyager, Curiosity, Perseverance and the James Webb Space Telescope, we have learned much more about the solar system than we have learned about it a few years ago. Voyager 1, launched in 1977, is the farthest man-made object from Earth, over 14 billion miles away. Imagine the distance, not 1,000 miles, not even a million miles, but 14 billion miles. Interesting, right? And it still sends us signals even from 14 billion miles away from Earth. Not only this, but in the future NASA is preparing to send humans to the moon and even send astronauts to Mars. You may have heard about Elon Musk, who wants to try to settle life on Mars. Now, beyond Moon and Mars, scientists also want to explore Europa and Titan, which I discussed earlier as one of the 200 moons, to see for signs of life. Imagine you find some animals or birds present on these moons. Crazy, right? Now, why does it matter? Why do we care about distant planets, moons, space rocks, when we already know about the 8 main planets? It's because the solar system helps us to understand the origins of Earth, how the Earth was created, the possibility of life beyond our planet, the future of humanity. Now, see, life may not only exist in Earth, but because of how much we have explored, how much we know because of our advancement in technology, we may even come to know that there might be life on Titan or Europa or even on Mars, on some hidden area. What we learn out there could help solve problems down here on Earth, like producing clean energy, helping in climate change, and even survival if Earth, we hope not, becomes uninhabitable one day. Now I would like to present a set of fun facts so that it just keeps you thinking for the rest of the day. So let me begin with the first one. A day on Venus is longer than a year on Venus. Generally, a day on Earth lasts for 24 hours, right? And a year lasts for 365 days. So it's 365 times more than 24 hours. But imagine the Earth suddenly, it starts, the day on Earth becomes longer than the year. Crazy, right? Second one, if Jupiter were 80 times more massive, it could have become a star, which I had already discussed earlier. And Saturn's rings could fit between Earth and the Moon, yet they're only a few hundred meters thick. Even though Saturn's rings, made of ice and dust, they're only a few hundred meters thick, they could fit between Earth and the Moon. I'll also give a few random facts, like Saturn is so hollow, it's a gaseous planet, but it is still so hollow that if there was a massive ocean, it could have floated on top of it. Now, why am I telling all of this more than just planets? So I would like to conclude by saying that when someone asks about the solar system, don't just say something you memorized from the textbook because you were forced by your teachers or your parents to just study. but rather just think about the beautiful elements present in our solar system that make it living, dynamic, and a mysterious place, full of beauty and discovery. Maybe one day, one of us, maybe you right now, you could go to the the surface of Mars or to the moon, or even beyond that. And what you may even find most surprising, that you find life somewhere else other than Earth. You know, so always think positively about the solar system, that it contains more than just 8 planets. So thank you everyone and have a nice day.